A very good afternoon to you. This is Silvana Pavlovska on behalf of Language Experts. We're continuing our series on professional duties of an interpreter, which we started recently, and this is going to be part 3 of the series. Today is Friday, the 31st of January, 2025. Today's topic will be on how interpreters are viewed by the legal system. And I'm referring to our publication. This is Language Experts publication on a training handbook for legal and court interpreters in Australia. A Language Experts publication catalogued in the National Library with its own ISBN number if you are interested in it, which is 978-099-2587307. This book is also available as an ebook. So if you are interested, please send us an email to training@languageexperts.com.au. How are interpreters viewed by the legal system? We ask ourselves. Today we are going to cover ideas as well as debates from the legal system about the right to an interpreter, the set of skills and competencies of the interpreter, and some core debates surrounding them. The purpose is to learn to understand how the legal system views the set of skills and competencies of the interpreter, understand how the legal system views the right to an interpreter, and understand also what the debate regarding literal interpretation is, and last but not least, understand what the debate regarding the conduit model is. So how does the legal system view the interpreter and their skills and competencies? Well, there seems to be no argument, I beg your pardon. There is an argument, absolutely. So there seems to be no agreement or uniformity among the plethora of legal bodies in Australia at local, state, and federal levels of what legal interpreting involves, nor is there consensus regarding the professional set of skills and competencies of the legal interpreter. So there is a disagreement indeed. And an overview of websites of such legal bodies reveals a dearth of any statement or definition or even reference to this subject. An often quoted example in legal and interpreter education sectors is the statement of the Supreme Court of Queensland in their Equal Treatment Bench Book, Equal Treatment Bench Book, 2005, page 65, and we quote, "Legal interpreting is a more specialized field than generalist interpreting, and the Bureau of Ethnic Affairs and Department of Justice have identified the following required competencies for legal interpreters. 1. Comprehensive knowledge about the Australian legal system. 2. Thorough understanding of the roles of lawyers and judicial officers. 3. Sensitivity to legal culture. 4. Command of legal terminology. 5. Understanding of the structure of the legal systems in Australia and the country where the target language is spoken. Next, tertiary level education or equivalent life experience. Ability to interpret consecutively and simultaneously. Commitment to ethical principles in legal settings, and an understanding of lawyers' expectations and how to work professionally with them. End of quote. This statement from the Supreme Court of Queensland, contained in their Equal Treatment Bench book, is full of an expectation of legal content expertise on the part of the interpreter. It appears to be taken for granted that designations such as a specialized and generalist and the ability to interpret are self-evident. We may argue that such terms need more discussion and clarification. Yes, and this statement by the Queensland Supreme Court is a laudable attempt to come to grips with the whole issue. It is indeed a start in the right direction and useful discussion starter. But professional interpreters need to be careful not to buy into definitions of other or of their professional role, which are derived solely from the professional needs or expectations of other professional domains in which interpreters work. The set of skills and competencies outlined by liaison interpreting after wills are accepted internationally as the professional skills and competencies that demarcate interpreting as a professional task and make it distinct and discrete from other professional tasks. Legal knowledge, medical knowledge, economics knowledge, immigration knowledge are as much of a sine qua non for effective transfer skills as advanced bilingual proficiency. And we talk about that in chapter 1.1. What is a paradigmatic example from the literature is the next question we are going to address. So let's now examine how the interpreting profession defines its skills and competencies and how the legal interpreting system does. A comparison of the two approaches will reinforce our understanding of the concepts and the professional issues involved. To enable us to do this comparison well, let us refer to a well-known example from the literature of how the professional interpreter skills and competencies are viewed. This is from Interpreters and the Legal System by Laster and Taylor, which remains arguably the most detailed and pertinent discussion on this issue, as it applies to the Australian context. Competent interpreting. Government involvement in organizing and funding legal interpreting in Australia has had the implicit objective of providing competent is in quotes, interpreting. The definition of a competent legal interpreter, however, remains vague. Articulating the criteria for competence has profound consequences for interpreter education, accreditation, and professionalization. Threshold standards for professional interpreters. There is a broad consensus about the basic skills that distinguish an interpreter from someone who is bilingual speaker. A professional interpreter requires the following. 1, comprehensive knowledge of the source and target languages. 2, ability to hear, comprehend, and discern the language that is being spoken in the source language. 3, good short-term memory and the ability to listen and take notes simultaneously. Number 4, extensive vocabularies, knowledge of specialized terminology, and wide general knowledge. 5, good diction and pronunciation. 6, familiarity with dialects, colloquialisms, regional differences, and cultural diversity. Going on, ability to move easily between formal and informal speech and to accurately interpret for speakers with divergent educational backgrounds, and professionalism and ethical standards. It's often argued that legal interpreting requires a higher order of competence than the generalist interpreting skills outlined previously, that the linguistic tasks in general settings are complex, and the consequences of failed or faulty communication can be severe and irrevocable. So I wish to remind you or inform you, if you don't already know, that language experts provides professional development, certification, and preparation training programs for practitioners who need to prepare for an exam that they wish to sit, who are part of the recertification policy from NATI, refreshing their skills and knowledge. And these programs include extensive range of courses as well as modules. These are listed on our website, which is www.interpreterrevalidationtraining.com. And you'll be able to see the extensive and comprehensive range of courses as well as modules or competency units, as they're sometimes called. So we specialize in this. All our material that we deliver, the content of that material is developed, designed by language experts and delivered by us as well. It is a structured program, in other words. So if you have any questions related to preparatory training, certification training for PD points, or any other training or assistance, if you don't know exactly what to do, by all means, do write to us via our website or send your email to training@languageexperts.com.au. That will be all for part 3 of this series dedicated to the education of interpreters and translators, but also education of the public, the community, the government who deals with interpreters and translators or relies on interpreters and translators. Very much so, as they've already many a times indicated that interpreting as well as translation are essential. They're vital services required in the community. Next time, as part of part 4, we're going to talk about the specialist legal or court interpreting. And in that context, we are going to also include information about the expectations of literal or word for word interpreting, as some people call it. So thank you for your attention today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again. Bye for now.